Hey guys, this is Luke again, and this is gonna be my final video of 2020, my last one, December 31st, 2020. But I'm actually recording this on Christmas, so if you're wondering, yes, I did have a great Christmas. But back to other news. 2020, what a shit year! What in the hell happened this year? This year's just been tremendously awful. Even though there were some good things in 2020, like eventually we got a vaccine to the ongoing pandemic that it's been going on, and we got some good Ninjago content in seasons 12 and 13. The bad stuff definitely overflowed the good stuff. So let's talk. I'm going to actually overview 2020 as a whole, whether it be from a personal point of view and from a Ninjago point of view. So, nothing too major happened in the first month of 2020, except towards the end, where we received news of the tragic, horrifying, the tragic passing of an NBA legend, Kobe Bryant, and his daughter, and six other people. I think it was six other people who died in a horrific helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. I think it was Calabasas. Which that was a horrifying way to die in a helicopter crash. From what I heard, the fog was so big that the pilot just couldn't see it, just straight up rammed right into the side of a cliff. No, well, not a side of a cliff, side of a something, and then just crashed, and everybody died, which was very tragic. Um, and then around February, we started to see you've word of something called the coronavirus. Basically, it started to spread in Wuhan, China, and it started to spread like wildfire. And by around March, everything was closed. Schools were closed. Everything was closed. The sports teams shut down their seasons midway through the season. It was just amazing how pretty much our entire world shut down right in front of our very eyes. It was just, it was terrifying, to be honest. It was terrifying because we had to basically rethink our whole way of life. Instead of going out to visit friends, we were talking to them via Discord or Zoom. We were face camming like this. And we had to do all of our assignments virtually instead of pen on paper or pencil on paper. But for me, I use pens. But, and it spread. And I think around this time, February and March, we got some good news, as personally from Ninjago. We got Prime Empire, which after the disaster that was Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, it was a nice refresher. There were still some kinks that need to be worked out with the 11-minute format, but all in all, it definitely was a hit. And definitely not because season 11 was a massive failure. In case you don't know that, I was being very, very sarcastic. So, yeah, at least we got that. And nothing really major happened around April, as far as I'm concerned. Or I think the only thing major happening is I think it was around April that the ongoing global crisis was now nationally, worldwide, calling it a pandemic. It was called a pandemic. So now we were under a pandemic, which was very, very shocking considering we didn't really have a pandemic in over 100 years. I think the last one was like the Spanish flu, which was like 100 years ago. And then nothing, again, same thing with May. Nothing big, huge happening until around May 25th. I think May 28th, 25th to the 30th. Then we got one of the most horrifying incidents that we've ever had. A black man named George Floyd was killed pretty much by a white police officer with some others, and with the knee on the neck for about 9 minutes, saying "I can't breathe," and this led to pretty much worldwide outrage, and basically gave rise, but gave a lot of momentum to the Black Lives Matter movement, and there was a lot of protests proclaiming Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, because Black Lives Matter was a thing before George Floyd. It was a thing around. It started around 2013. All right, 2013. But that's when it really started to sting. I think it's one of the biggest protests to have ever been done. I think the only one bigger was the protest against the Iraq War, but I am not entirely sure on that. And if there are some things that I did miss in this video, please let me know, because let's be real here, nobody wants to remember this year, and it might be that I'm just repressing a lot of stuff. So I don't think anything memorable happened in June or July. I think it was around that time, though, that we started getting news for season 13 called Master of the Mountain. And finally, our near decade prayers have finally been answered. We were finally getting a Cole installment, a true Cole installment, not just some random special like they have departed. We actually got a Cole season, and boy, was it a magical masterpiece. They have this 11-minute format down. Sure, you can't quite tell as many stories, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? And overall, it is a masterpiece, and we were expecting more. Nothing really too major. And then, around September is when the political stuff starts kicking in. And we were getting the Democratic and Republican national conventions, and we were getting the candidates and then which all led up to around October, which then there were news of potential vaccines, because they were rushing to get vaccines. Vaccines are not easy to develop. Those take like 10 years to develop, and these guys did it in under a tenth of that, which is incredibly impressive. There were some companies like Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca that did it, and then we but overall nothing too major. But then we hit November 3rd of 2020. I think around October was also when we were getting the debates, and oh my god, the first one was such a clusterfuck. It was basically just two old men, well, three old men, if you include the announcer guy. What was his name? Chris something. Yelling at each other for basically a few hours. Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President. I hated that douchebag. He was such a horrible guy for the moderator for it. He was so bad. It was just straight up cringe. So nobody really paid attention to the first one, and then the second one got canceled because Trump, being the narcissistic that he is, didn't want to do it over Zoom and basically being glitchy. So there was only one other debate, which happened later, and it was much better. But I still think Biden won overall, with Trump having maybe one or two areas where he's like, okay, maybe you have a point. And then I think around that same time, there was the vice presidential election, which only got one. And this became such a meme. It really became such a meme. And that was the fly on top of Mike Pence's head, and pretty much made him such a laughing stock. And then on November 3rd, 2020, we all voted, and it was pretty much one of the most important elections we've ever had, because our country was at stake here. I'm not gonna say who I voted for because I think that's taboo. That's taboo. But in the end, Joe Biden won. You know, by quite a lot actually. It at first it was kind of close, and then Joe Biden just took off on such a lead, and Trump was just not getting anything. Trump may have covered more land, but he got the less important states like Idaho and Montana, or he should have gotten important states like California, New York, Florida, my state, Virginia. Um, he should have gotten those instead of those important, not important states that are not really gonna help you. So in the end, the prediction was that Joe Biden was going to be the 46th president of the United States, with Kamala Harris being being the vice president, which made her like the first lady, the first one. I think it was like the first female vice president, and the first female black vice president, and the first female Indian vice president. I know she made a lot of history on that night. Um, and then around that same time, and then nothing too major happens until we hit November 18th, 2020. I hate discussing this event. It broke all of our hearts, but it's important. This was one of the most devastating moments that we've ever had in my life. Kirby Morrow, the voice actor for Cole on the Ninjago TV show, unfortunately did pass away at the young age of 47. Um, and then it was later revealed that he was mentally ill. He was very depressed. The pandemic hit him too close to home because it really limited what he wanted to do, which was to entertain a lot of people. Now he really couldn't do that, which led him to spiral down a dark path of depression, which led him to take substances, alcohol, and eventually it killed him. Which, it broke all of our hearts. I was on the verge of crying when I heard the news. And, there were floods of tributes, not just Ninjago, but from all the shows that he worked on, Dragon Ball, Inuyasha, Death Note, a lot of the stuff that he just worked on, and everyone was paying their respects to this gifted man who gave such a voice to so many characters, and that we were never going to hear his voice again, or at least not for a bit. Not we were going to hear it for a little bit more longer, and then nothing. And then around that time, we were receiving barely any season 14 news. And I think around that same day, maybe a couple hours later, there were season 14 set leaks, and some people wanted to leak them because that they felt it was their duty to leak them all, but people called them out on it, saying, "Hey, this post them another day. Today is about Kirby," which they were right. They were right. And then, it's over a month later, and I still don't believe he's gone. I don't. Good thing is that we did receive news by Lego that he will be voicing Cole for at least two more seasons, 14 and 15. After that, they'll probably recast the character because they probably shouldn't kill him off, but that's just me personally. And then nothing really super eventful in December, shockingly. Oh yeah, I also forgot towards the beginning of the year, Australia caught on fire. I think there was a lot of bushfires. There was also the Amazon rainforest was on fire or something like that. But now back to December this month. Christmas wasn't the same. I called it the pandemic special, where we just really scrapped up what we could. And I mean, we did celebrate a pretty good Christmas. It was good. It just didn't feel quite the same like Christmases of the past. But this year that was, for me as a personal, it was filled with very few highs and so many lows. I was just super lonely and super depressed, mostly because I just simply had no one to talk to. And, be like what Casey Morrell said, be someone's audience. And that's what I could give someone their audience, but I can't give an audience to myself. It's hard, man. And overall, I made so many bad decisions in the first half of 2020 that it made me lose a lot of people that I thought were close in my life. And overall, I wish I could take it back. I absolutely wish, but I can't. And I had to let go of a very, very close friend, just because he's just too busy for me. It's not that he hates me or anything. It's just that he doesn't really have time for me anymore. He doesn't really have time. He's just too busy. And that broke me in so many levels just because of how big our relationship was. But I've let him go. I have given him the opportunity to come back. Hopefully something does happen. Hopefully he does come back and say, hey, I am sorry that, I didn't talk to you. And hopefully we can reconnect things. And yeah, so hopefully we can come back to what was once was. And yeah, and just because, Twitter drama and stuff like that, I've I I'm so used to drama at this point that it doesn't even affect me anymore. And at this point, I just feel like getting rid of my Twitter account altogether because it's just too toxic of a platform. That's why I don't really post a lot of my Twitter actual posts from me. It's mostly me just replying to a bunch of crap. Sorry. I'm recording this at nearly 9 p.m. So this year has just been, not that great for me. Pretty much the biggest thing for me is I actually did graduate online high school this year here in 2020, and now I'll probably go to an online college, which I was kind of scared of because I figured, what does this do for me? How will this impact my friendships with everyone? How will this impact, my YouTube schedule and stuff like that? But my mom and dad have just been working themselves to death. They don't really have time to, do everything. She still hasn't filled out my FAFSA. My mom still hasn't filled it out. And I don't know. It's just something about this is it's just weird, man. But yeah, don't assume all of our problems will just magically go away. It's not like not a cut. Wish it all to go away. It's not gonna be like that. It's not. It'll start off just as crappy as 2020 was, but I think 2021 will end much better than 2020 did. And that's what kind of hurts this year a bit more, is that this was an all new decade, an all new year. It was a fresh start. And then, nope, the year just gave a massive middle finger to anyone who actually was planning to do something this year and just say nope. But yeah, this year it's just been what a ride, and not in the good way. It's just like, why did we have to put up with this, and how much longer are we going to put up with it more? it's just it's just amazing how I and a lot of people have been able to pull through for all of the trauma that we've been put through. So I hope this year, at least I hope there was something good about 2020 for you. Um, if I were to make my 2021 New Year's resolutions, it's to hopefully, for YouTube, get to 500 subscribers and eventually 1,000. Um, and then hopefully my podcast channel with the Ninjago Legends is going will reach 500 as well, and hopefully I can recap on what was lost. I could fix what was not there, and just not get into any other drama. Just shut my mouth. Just shut my mouth. And hopefully I could just make myself better as a whole. But speaking of my channel, what is going to happen to what are you going to receive for 2021? Well, starting tomorrow, which is January 1st, is my 10-year Ninjago project called What Makes Ninjago So Good, it's basically, as I said, a multi-day countdown where it's basically going number 12, number 11, number 10, because I did 12. That's what I counted, 12. With the 14th being the number one reason, and the 15th is going to be a big mega version where it's just all the separate ones being put together. And it'll be the return of the Life Story series. Life Story Season 2 is going to come in 2021. Way of the Departed is probably going to end, or at least be put on a massive halt, because as far as I know, Tommy Andreessen's not released any more chapters after chapter 22 of Way of the Departed. If he has, I will capitalize on it. Don't you worry about that. But I will capitalize on my audio of my narrations. I will try to do more creepypasta narrations, and will narrate a new Ninjago story, which is a book that some of you may know. It's called Pythor's Revenge. And I'll do I think it was like 10 chapters of it, which is going to be like a short series or something. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Hopefully more countdowns. Because here's something funny. I accidentally bought a year-long subscription to my editor, Power Director, and it was an accident. I thought I was going to get the trial version, but I used it from my main account, which already used it. Thought I was going to do it from my other account, but it ended up using $30 out of my own money to pay for it, and I accidentally boosted it. So hopefully more countdowns will come, including me ranking the entire season. So probably when season 14 ends, I'll do that video, and I'll probably come back with tier lists. The tier list videos will come back, because there's gonna be some updates. Obviously, there's gonna be some updates to a lot of them, and hopefully, a lot of these tier lists will reach up to my ships tier list, which for some reason is the first video on my channel to reach 1,000 views. 1,000. Are people that passionate about shipping Lego people? I think they are. And remember that new series I was going to announce, my Ninjago Oppression series? It's going to actually take place in 2021. I just announced it, that it was coming. I just did not know. I just did not have enough to actually make making a full-length episode, because I want a lot of these. It's okay to reuse a lot of the lines, considering people are going to forget. They're not going to remember every single damn line. It's like that meme. Do you know Ninjago? Name every character. So it's okay to reuse them, just not twice in a row, because then it's just boring. Just don't use them in every video, all right? So that's also coming. Hopefully more collab videos, I've been working with, a lot of great people. I've had collab videos with Rita and Overlord 1469. I've had one with Daily Lord. Hopefully, one more with, the more up and comers, with the more, like, I had one with Stormbricks, Four Corners, the Four Corners E. I don't know why he's called the Four Corners E and just not the Four Corners. I don't know what the E is for. um, the Brick Lord, Nick the Brick, and yeah, just some other people, hopefully. And hopefully they won't just be collabs on their channel, but mine as well. So that's what you're probably going to expect a lot of this year. And hopefully I could try to do some more gaming, because I'm going to be honest with you. Ninjago content has just overtaken a lot of the schedule. I know I said I was going to do like 3 Ninjago videos and then 3 gaming and other stuff. I kind of went back on that. I kind of abandoned it a few weeks in because of the news that was just pouring in, and it was just something I couldn't do. So I had to backtrack on that. So yeah, hopefully I could do some more gaming, because those videos are gonna kind of substitute if I want to make other Ninjago videos. I do. Ow, stupid desk. Um, I do have a big file of, not a big file, but like a Google Doc of, Ninjago video ideas. For gaming video ideas, I'll try and think about it sometime soon. Oh, and if there are any Ninjago news for season 14, 15, whatever, in during the 2 week period for my What Makes Ninjago So Good good series, you'll just be getting double uploads, which is pretty nice if you say so myself. And I'm also closing in on 500 videos, so hopefully that'll be something good. All right. But that's really it. Sorry if I went on such a long video, because there was just so much to talk about with just this year, Ninjago in 2020, and just my channel and myself overall in 2020. There was just so much to talk about, but thank God it's all done. Everything is off my chest. But hopefully your 2020 was better than mine. And hopefully 2021 will serve us and Ninjago a lot better than it did in 2020. So yeah, fuck you 2020, and here comes 2021. So I'll see you guys in the next year. Bye bye.